All right, all set, guys. Joseph,
Michael, tell me anything?
go ahead.
Dana, kind of talked all off-season about the changes that are coming, whether it's the conference or the roster, the depth chart reflects a lot of newcomers. Can you kind of just take us through some of what all the changes?
Depth chart, huh?
All
I
the
was starting
changes
off.
Page 17.
What is the depth chart? It's clear, you know, we have to put something out there, I guess. You know, it's like I told our guys on Saturday morning, we had a mock game. You know, had 70 guys that travel. I think we dressed another 20. You know, so there's about 90 kids that'll be dressed out next week. We have 120, so there's 30 of them on the sidelines that aren't dressing, you know, and, you know, that's the first time we've kind of put order to it a little bit. You know, and I was just encouraging these guys that, you know, keep working hard because it's going to probably change. I mean, depth charts are going to change. Travel squad is going to change. The dress list is going to change. We don't have to load a plane and take 70 until game 5, you know, so we're unlimited with what we can do with that. So I know what you guys are looking at here, and it's pretty accurate. But there's more guys that are in the mix, you know, I can tell you that. You know, just take the running back spot. You know, Brandon Campbell's had a good camp, so he may start. I mean, we'll see how practice goes this week. You know, they've all done good. So, you know, who actually goes out there? Tight end spots, same thing. You know, I mean, you know, Eddie Henry's had a good camp. You know, Logan Compton's had a good camp. You know, from a receiver standpoint, those guys are pretty accurate. You know, there's some other D linemen that are in the mix. You know, so this is a good starting point. Who actually ends up getting snaps is going to determine how practice goes this week and how, you know, how the first half looks, you know, which may change in the second half. So there's more competition and there's more people in the mix than what this depth chart currently says.
How do you feel about the internal leadership on this team and the captains group you have here?
Yeah, good. You know, most of our vets, you know, the strong leader guys are on the O-line, D-line, which is encouraging to me. You know, Jack Freeman, Pat Paul, Nelson Caesar, you know, Chidozie has matured and grown up. You know, Sed Williams has leadership qualities. You know, David Ugbagwe was a captain at Oklahoma. You know, he's got 3,000 snaps in the Big 12. I mean, so, you know, Ruben's a senior. Tank's a senior. Don't forget Tank Jenkins played the most snaps of anybody on our team 2 years ago. So it's encouraging that, the leadership stuff, the captains and the leadership stuff, most of it's coming from big people and O-line, D-line. That was the biggest, you know, probably question mark, you know, making the jump from the American to the Big 12 is what those up front bodies look like, and those up front bodies look different. They're bigger. So it's encouraging to me that we have, you know, leadership and old guys on the offense and defensive line.
And specifically the secondary with Halsey and Hamilton, you know, those are some spots that you were looking at, and then how you played with the nickel. What did you see from those newcomers right there?
Yeah, I mean, AJ's he's our starting free safety. You know, Juwan Gaston came in junior college. He's looked better and better throughout camp, but AJ's a starter there. Isaiah Hamilton's played almost 2,000 snaps in college. I realize it's FCS, but he's made this jump. He's a playmaker. He's got great ball skills. He's picked us several times. Malik Fleming, another guy that, you know, I didn't handpick him. It was his decision to come here, but you know, watching him play for the last 2 years, nobody covered Tank Dell better than he did. You know, so, you know, he's got a lot of experience, and You know, he's played almost 3,000 snaps in college. So we knew we needed some help at DB. You know, lost some guys that made some plays for us, but our depth last year, we all would agree that was not good. And when we had some guys go down like Alex Hogan in Game 4, you know, there wasn't capable backups to be able to come in for him. You get Alex back, he's a starter. You know, Moses has looked good. Brian George has looked good. They're 6'3". They've you know, they look the part. I'm anxious to watch them play. Antonio Brooks has looked good. Jalen Emery's looked good. You know, we have more bodies and more depth. So bringing in guys that have a lot of experience at this level is important, and creating competition with the guys that were here is important as well.
How would you say, I guess, you know, Donovan as a starting quarterback, how would you say he's been able to work with his teammates and his chemistry with the offensive line, running backs, like serious?
Yeah, JD had a good article on him the other day. He's a coach's kid. He's smart. He's intelligent. He understands how to be a good teammate. He didn't come in and try to be somebody that he's not. I think is the biggest key. And so every week he became a better player. Every week he became a better teammate. Every week he became a better, just overall teammate, so to speak. You know, relationship with the receivers, the O-line, all that stuff solid. He's getting more comfortable with what we're asking him to do. I think him and our entire team is just at the point where we got to play. There ain't no more progress until we play. I mean, I wish we would have played week 0. I've been on this week 0 thing for 10 years. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I think it's going to happen eventually. It's just there's television spots that they need content. That's what this is all about, right? So I think week 0 is going to be a thing. I mean, we practiced a lot in the summer. Not practice, but we did things that we could do all summer. You know, this is a relatively new team, young team, not young, new. I don't know what we got until there's live bullets, you know, and so we need to play. And that starting with Donovan right there, obviously. I mean, we saw him up close and personal last year too, but hopefully this is an improved version of Donovan with more experience.
Coach, with all that said, I mean, you said you haven't played the game and all that. Are you happy where the team is right now as a staff and everything? What's going on?
Yeah, man, we're in a good place. I mean, we've had a couple of injuries and nothing. You know, obviously Rashawn was major, disappointing, but that's it. You know, and so we're healthy. Our morale's good. We're ready to go. You know, so I'm happy where they're at. Nobody thinks we're any good, so let's line up and see. You know. I think I've told them that a few times. So, you know, we're underdogs at home. Can't wait. Looking forward to Saturday at 6. It's gonna be hot. Everybody get their minds right for that. We've been on that turf one time. You know, probably pretty much every day we've been on the grass fields. There's quite a bit of difference between the grass fields and the turf. It is what it is. Preserve energy from 4 to 6. Gonna need it. So, but it was when we were on it. I think it was. I mean, we got off the field at like noon on Saturday for this mock game, and it was about 140 on the field. It's hot. Get used to it. Well, there's cooling zones on the sidelines and stuff. I mean, they ain't moving the game. We had cage rage, and about 7 o'clock, it got comfortable. Once that sun actually goes down, it cooled off tremendously. There was a great turnout. There's thousands of students on that field, and they weren't uncomfortable, but the sun needs to go down. That's why we got our first 4 games at night.
Is there a chance with the heat in mind that you may rotate a little bit more in just at the early stage of the game just because of that heat factor?
Yeah, probably. They will too. I mean, that's kind of how they play, UTSA. I mean, we need to talk about them a little bit, but that's how they play. I mean, they rotate a lot. They play a lot of different people. So I would think both teams are going to try to go into the game with that mindset. You know, what we're looking at is going to probably dictate how much we do that. That's kind of their philosophy. We do it, you know, on the D-line as well. They do it a little bit more across the board than we do, but, you the game is shorter, I hear, because of these new rules. It's what, like a couple possessions less, so we'll be all right.
Danny, you've always known that Frank Harris was a gamer. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah.
you saw the article that came out today, but he was on the verge of possibly having to give up football this offseason. You just kind of, what you've seen from him, especially.
Yeah, he's championship caliber quarterback. They're, what are they, 23-5 in the last 2 years with him as the starting quarterback. I heard he had a couple of procedures, whatever, but, I know what we're going to get with him. Our team knows what we're going to get with him. He's a seventh-year super senior, 23 years old, I think. Maybe he's older than that. Got a lot of respect for him, man. I mean, he's won games. He's a dadgum ball player. He's a coach's kid. He's played a lot. They've had coordinator changes on offense, but they ain't changing. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. They're good at it. They know what they got a plan. They got, I think, 8 starters coming back. So, it's challenging. Playing against him is challenging. That thing went 3 overtimes last year, and it was a duel of 2 quarterbacks that wouldn't quit. So, he's a good player.
What have you seen from Mathis coming in and the rest of that running back trio?
Yeah, and Parker Jenkins, too. I'd throw him in that mix. He's looked good as a freshman. He'll play. Tony's got 4 years of Big 12 experience. Ain't nothing gonna be too big for him. I mean, he is an old head. He's a vet. He's tough. He's downhill. He's a good short yardage guy. He's a good team guy. I mean, got along with the guys immediately. That running back room is pretty tight. Stacy Sneed's look good. Brandon Campbell's look good. Parker, as I mentioned, all 4 of them are going to rotate and play. So he brings maturity. Keelan Walker's kind of he's an older guy, role guy. He's got some leadership qualities to him, obviously, but Tony's got the experience and going to play a lot. So having him from an experience perspective in this conference has been good for that whole room.
You played UTSA last year in opener, and this year, what do you say? I guess the major differences are between the two, and just any effects on the game plan for this.
The teams are similar. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of coaching changes with either one of them. Defensively, we're both returning guys. Offensively, there's been some change-ups with who coordinators are, but the offenses aren't going to change. They're a good team. It's a relatively new program, but they've came a long ways in the short 13 years that they've been playing ball there. I got a lot of respect for Coach Traylor and what that program has accomplished. They're up and coming just like Houston is. Houston left American, go Big 12. Well, UTSA left Conference USA to go to American. So that program's on the up and up. But got a ton of respect for their program and how they play, how they coach. They recruit hard and they play hard.
Guys like Jacoby, Jonah, McHale, first camps, how did you feel like they?
Oh, they're all work in progress. They're all going to dress, and I think they're going to continue to make improvements week in and week out. Jonah was probably the one that was close to seeing the field, and then, he got a knee, nothing major. He's practicing now. He's fine, but he was out for about a week. Just because, I feel good about the starters. I've said that. I feel good about, the 3 that we have listed, but Boogie Johnson and Josh Cobbs are 2 older guys that have experience and are just ahead of the young kids right now. I mean, how long that gonna, what's that gonna look like in 6 weeks or towards the end of the year? I don't know. But those guys are bringing valuable experience to where we don't have to have those young kids step in and play yet. I mean, when they're ready, they'll be ready. They may get thrown in there this weekend, but when they're ready, they'll be ready. I'm just glad we don't have to put people in positions, young kids, we don't have to put people in positions to play before they're ready. I mentioned Parker Jenkins, but probably the only other freshman that's really caught our eye is LaTravian McCutcheon on defense. He's long and he can run. So those two guys will play because they're ready to play in a limited role for us right now. How much those other young kids are going to get there is to be determined.
You've never released short-term injuries before a game, but the Big Ten changed their rules this weekend where they're requiring teams to release it 2 hours before. Do you like that idea, and should the Big 12 do it?
I've never, I'll be honest with you, I've never thought about it. You know, we've always tried to keep that under wraps. Privacy for kids is one thing. Who's going to play? The chess match between coaches, I think, probably has existed for a long time. It's been my philosophy for 13 years as a head coach. If it's long term, I tell you. If it's short term, then we won't. If the rules change and they make me do something different, then I will abide by them.
You see Man Jack and Sam Brown, and Golden's obviously again, but those other
Yeah, Golden's he's had a good camp. He's ready to go. Manjack has had probably the most solid, consistent camp that we've had on offense. It's saying something. I mean, he is a workaholic. He lines up and plays hard every play. He's improved his body. He's turned into a pretty good player. So I'm really excited about him. The rest of them have had their moments, and I'm ready to see them live.
You talk about David coming in and wanting to come here to play the edge versus inside. What kind of camp did he have? How prepared do you think he is heading into the season without live bullets, so to speak? And what is he hoping to do this last year?
Yeah, he did his homework, right? So he was playing middle linebacker at Oklahoma and played 2,700 snaps all conference. I mean, he looks the part, and you watch him play, and he plays with effort. He has a motor, and the way he plays is impressive. He wanted to do more on-the-ball DN stuff, and, with guys like Peyton Turner and Logan Hall and Derek Parrish and David Anini and, DeAnthony Jones, guys like that have been coached by Brian Early from a technique perspective. That's what David wanted, and that's what David's getting. And so you watch him. It's been fun to watch him. It's fun to watch him play the way he chases things because he plays with just tremendous effort and intensity. But he's getting better and better coming off the edge. He's been a space player, but is really working hard on his game. Really anxious to see what it looks like up close and personal. Watch him play Saturday.
When you look at the schedule, not Big 12 stuff, notwithstanding, but having 8 games, I guess, what was it, 10 here in the state,
Yep.
7 to begin the year, if you go very far. How does that, in your mind, play out or set up?
Well, I hope it resonates with fans. I've talked about the importance of fans and being at the game. I mean, we've sold more tickets for this game than we have since I've been here. That's encouraging. Fan Day was encouraging. Cage Rage was encouraging. This is what Houston's always wanted. We all know that, okay? Just as far as, games that make sense. I don't want to get on a flight and fly to Philly to see Temple or Tampa or, I'm not saying anything negative about those programs. That's just what it's been said in Houston. Well, here you go. You got 8 games in the city, 7 at TDECU Stadium, 10 in the state of Texas. We're only on 3 flights. One of them's to Lubbock, one's to Orlando, one's to Manhattan. Got lots of opportunities to watch the Cougs come to the games, and Houstonians as well. I mean, that's been one thing that Houston's always kind of had, big marquee games. I mean, people in Houston want to come watch it, so, I realize what my part is, put a good product out there, I mean, that's my job. And I'm anxious to see what that looks like Saturday. Hopefully we have a good turnout. We have a good crowd. We celebrate where this program is right now, in 2023, being in the Big 12. There's a lot of exciting things around here right now. So, hopefully we can get a lot of people to come support the Cougs. I know it's going to be a little toasty. I get that. It's going to be a little warm, but I think it's going to be pretty festive. And we got a quality team coming in, and we're going to have a lot of quality teams coming in future games. So this is step one. There's nothing more important than playing this game this Saturday. And it's my job to put a good product out there and get off to a good start.
The mock game did allow you to kind of get out the kinks with, who's in the booth,
Yeah.
calling, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's still Iman and you and Burchett, kind of, as they described it, a three-headed monster.
Yeah, it is. Iman's doing great. He's got a ton of knowledge and a lot of input. Burchett's doing great. He's been doing it with me for a long time, 12 years. So very comfortable with what's being said in that room, what's being put on the paper, how things are getting communicated. Mock game is, don't think of it as a game. It's a run through. I mean, it's non-contact. There's no pads. I mean, I basically say, go take pictures in your uniform, and then we're going to go to the sideline, and we're going to go through things. On and off the field, headsets, communication. Here's where everybody is on the sidelines. You call out the punt team. You go play a fake snap of defense. You call out the kickoff team, all that stuff. So it was hot. Lasted about 2 hours. Went through all our pregame warm-up stuff. We're ready for Saturday.
How important are those improvements, guys making their bodies? You mentioned man check. Jack Freeman talked about wanting to get the 300, but at sort of the same speed. I mean, how important is that?
Yeah, it's never been more important, ever. We're spending a lot of money on strength and conditioning. Daryl Bauer does an unbelievable job. He's not just as a strength coach, you don't just teach people how to push weight. I mean, you're doing everything. You're doing cold tubs. You're watching them eat. We have a nutritionist. Have probably 3 of them. Amount of money that is spent on food is absurd. But it's all about the players and getting them bigger, faster, stronger, and healthier, and ready for combat. So our team's in a good spot when it comes to that right now, and our morale is good, mindset's good, ready to play. But that plays a big part in it. That's player development too, and I would argue that we do as good a job with player development as anybody else. As anybody out there. And our strength and conditioning program is a big part of that.
Thanks so much.
All right, awesome. See you guys on Saturday.